Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game. And
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. Soom can't tell that one either. I'm like, actually cycling through them. Ashley Kutcher and him they were real tight one time. Me, him, Ashley Kutcher went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close, they was cool. Throw your hands in the head, black guy. Throw your hands in the head. Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor, we believe now. The evidence will show that was actually blood, so it looks like the feds are making moves again. And this time they've allegedly snatched up Ashton Kutcher, according to what's starting to leak online. Ashton may have just been arrested as a co-conspirator in the ongoing Diddy investigation. And honestly, it might explain a lot. Like why Ashton has been completely missing in action ever since the Diddy case exploded. No interviews, no red carpets, not even a single random paparazzi shot. People are starting to think he's already in custody, and it doesn't stop there because his old skeletons start falling out the closet. Folks are digging into Ashton's past, and it's messier than. People remember back in high school he literally broke into his school to cheat and steal money and ended up convicted of third-degree burglary, a whole felony. Then years later, Ashton was co-hosting Diddy's infamous white parties, the same ones tied to those wild, now very suspicious allegations. And get this, there's also those resurfaced rumors that Ashton was allegedly dating Lindsay Lohan when she was just 16, so when people say Ashton is just as shady as Diddy, the timeline starts to make sense. Let's not forget his connection to the tragic unaliving of Ashley Ellerin, his former girlfriend. Ashton's story that night always raised eyebrows, and as if all that wasn't messy enough, Mila Kunis has reportedly filed for divorce. Sources say she's done protecting him. And this latest scandal might have been the final straw. So did the feds really arrest Ashton Kutcher? Is he Diddy's silent co-conspirator, and what does Mila know that made her run for the exit? Let's break it all the way down. A lot of people don't realize this, but Ashton Kutcher was never the squeaky clean heartthrob Hollywood tried to sell us way before the fame. Before that 70s show, before the tech investments and talk show charm, Ashton was actually a convicted felon in his senior year of high school. Ashton broke into his school not just to play a prank or mess around, but to steal money and cheat on a test, and he got caught. He was arrested and charged with third-degree burglary, which is a whole felony. That little stunt cost him everything: his college scholarships, his clean record, even his right to vote. But here's the part that rubs people the wrong way. Once Ashton got famous, he paid to have his record wiped clean, that felony, expugned voting rights restored, just like that, because when you've got money, the system hits a little different. After that, he tried the college thing at the University of Iowa, but that didn't last. Ashton admitted himself that he was out here wilding, partying nonstop, got kicked out of his apartment for being too loud and reckless. So he dropped out, moved to New York, and started modeling next to names like Tom Welling from Smallville. But that's just the beginning, because things take a darker turn when you bring up Ashley Ellerin. She was a 22-year-old fashion student and Ashton's then girlfriend the night she was brutally unalived. Ashton showed up to her house late. He said he looked through the window and thought the red stains on the carpet were spilled wine. So he just left. And by the next morning, Ashley was found inside that same house. Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually blood. People have always said his story sounded suspicious, like who sees red on a carpet and assumes it's wine without checking if the person they came to see is okay. And for years, fans have side-eyed that whole situation. And she's not even the only one, because guess who else Ashton was? Close to Brittany Murphy. Brittany died mysteriously at just 32. The official cause was pneumonia and anemia. But then her husband, Simon Monjack, died a few months later from the exact same thing, like exact same cause. Hollywood is mourning the loss of Brittany Murphy this morning. The 32-year-old actress died on Sunday from what officials say appear to be natural causes. An autopsy is planned, reportedly against the wishes of her husband. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone has this report. It didn't take long for fans to connect the dots. Both deaths were sudden, suspicious, and too similar to be coincidence now. People are starting to wonder, were they all involved in something deeper, and was Ashton just as dirty as Diddy all along? 'Cause Britney's case, it's giving major cover-up energy. Especially now that we know Diddy and Ashton co-hosted those infamous white parties, the ones, those exclusive all-night bashes filled with celebs, models, mogul, and a whole lot of mystery to me. I think what makes it work is I know you're so freaking hot-nosed being able to do scenes with him and being in it with him. But get this, Britney isn't the only woman who died under weird circumstances. While connected to these two, fans have also been pointing at Kim Porter Diddy's ex-and, the mother of 3 of his kids. She passed away in 2018, and the official cause was listed as pneumonia. Sound familiar? Just like Britney, just like Simon, all 3 were tied to Diddy. All 3 died young, and all 3 were given the same vague cause of death. No, let's zoom out for a second because there's a bigger pattern forming, and Ashton, he's right at the center of it, quietly holding hands with Diddy in the shadows, while acting squeaky clean in the spotlight. Because according to several insiders, Diddy trusted Ashton not just with business but with secrets. Why, simple Ashton was close with Danny Masterson. That Danny, the one who's now doing serious time for horrific crimes, and if you know, you know. Soon after that connection was made, Diddy brought Ashton, Danny Masterson, and Wilmer Valderramain to his inner circle, his special hand-picked group, and guess what? He called them the new Hollywood Rat Pack. Now, baby, this was not just some boys' club for cigars and business lunches. These men were flying around the world, partying non-stop, pulling strings, hosting exclusive events, and allegedly doing things behind closed doors that the public was never supposed to know about. Word is Ashton even introduced Diddy to WayWorks' controversial CEO Adam Neumann, the one who basically scammed investors out of billions and ran a company into the ground with his cult-like leadership. Guess who got a quiet little cut of that pie? Diddy. I am the kind of person that actually learns more from their mistakes than from their successes. So all the great things we did in the past we're going to do again. Nowhere's where it gets real twisted once you start mixing money, power, and silence. You're not just forming friendships, you're building fortresses, where no one dares to speak and everything gets buried. And the proof goon line right now. And try searching the new Hollywood Rat Pack with any of those men's names. You'll barely find anything. It's like the internet got a deep clean scrubbed from top to bottom. Why? Because ever since Diddy's arrest, Ashton and Mila have been moving in stealth mode. All of a sudden, they're acting like they barely knew him. Like Diddy was just some random guy they bumped into at a red carpet once upon a time. Please, they pulled the same exact stunt when Danny Masterson got convicted. Years off, friendship, birthday posts, family trips all gone, deleted, rewritten. Like it never happened. People were shocked to find out that Ashton and Mila, who kind of have branded themselves as activists for victims, would write letters on behalf of a person who had been convicted already. It's giving rebrand, it's giving damage control, and it's all part of a bigger pattern because let's not forget Ashton and Mila have always had deep ties to Scientology. Their closest friends, Scientologists, their inner circle tied in. Even their staff has been rumored to be part of the network, and you know what? That means media manipulation on a master level. Scientology has a long, dark history of scrubbing headlines, intimidating reporters, and silencing critics. So if you've ever wondered how stories disappear so fast now, at one point when he was asked about Diddy's infamous parties, Ashton literally said, "There's a lot he can't tell." Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So I can't tell that one either. I'm like actually cycling through them. That own sentence sent the internet into a tailspin. People immediately started speculating. Allegedly, what Ashton can't talk about includes everything from freak-offs to exploitation. To some of the same unhinged behavior, Diddy is now facing trial for, and let's not forget, about Thorne Ashton's nonprofit that was supposed to be a mission to stop child exploitation. Online, on paper, it looks incredible, heroic even. He said, within 3 blocks of where we're standing, you can go buy somebody. And I was floored by the notion of that, but behind the scenes, there's a lot that's being kept under wraps. Some documents are redacted, some connections are too convenient, and even Freedom of Information Act requests have been filed to dig deeper. That's how shady it's gotten. And then just like that, Ashton resigned from Thorne's board out of nowhere, Some sources say it was because they were getting ready to turn the spotlight on him, and he knew it was about to get ugly. So the Times commits reporting that Ashton Kutcher has resigned from his position as a chairman of the board, effective immediately. He wrote a very lengthy letter speaking of things getting ugly. Let's talk about Dave Chase. Y'all remember her, the creepy little girl from The Ring. But what most people don't know is that she didn't just disappear from Hollywood. She spiraled, and according to whispers in the shadows, it all started the night she got invited to party with none other than Diddy and Ashton Kutcher. She was young, like too young, and ever since that night her life has been a complete mess. Arrest, substance charges, jail time. In 2019 she was booked for a misdemeanor just 5 months before that substance possession, and by early 2024 she was right back in jail after another arrest in Hollywood. This girl went from red carpet premieres to mugshots in less than a decade. And listen, people aren't just saying it was bad luck. They're alleging that something happened at that party, something dark, something that damaged her forever. We're talking the kind of trauma you don't bounce back from. How are you doing? How's the New Year's going for you? Great, sorry, well, Happy New Year anyways, I'm sorry. And here's the kicker. Davy Chase ain't the only one, because allegedly, Ashton Kutcher had a thing for younger girls. The streets are saying that Lindsay Lohan and Ashton were a thing when she was just 16. And guess what? When Ashton allegedly ended it, she slid right into Wilmer Valderrama's arms, starting to see a pattern. It's like this whole inner circle had one sick, twisted preference, and Ashton wasn't just part of it. He was right in the center, as in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen, and she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18. And look, we already know Diddy's got lawsuits out here stacked like Jenga blocks. But when you line it all up, Ashton, Wilmer, Danny Masterson, it's giving co-conspirators. Let's really talk about Wilmer for a second, because his track record is wild. Let's start with Mandy Moore. She was just 15 when she met Wilmer, and he was 20 at the time. Both of them said nothing weird was going on. But years later, Mandy confirmed that yes, their relationship did happen while she was underage. I dated him when I was 16 and 17. No, I love him. And I still love him, and he's a very good friend. And that's why I was so shocked by it, because not only was it a fib, but it was so unlike him. It was so uncharacteristic. He was like my first, real true boyfriend, right? But he did not take your virginity. He did not. And y'all, it gets worse. In a disgusting interview with Howard Stern, Wilmer literally bragged about being the first guy to sleep with her. He laughed, he joked, he boasted it was sick. And Mandy later came out and said it wasn't even true, and that the whole thing hurt her deeply. Who I think is a real hot piece of ass. You dated Mandy Moore. Yeah, for Mandy. What's that? Like, Jesus, I love you, I love this. And then came Lindsay Lohan. Now, Lindsay was the it girl of the early 2000s peak fame. Paparazzi everywhere. Wilmer was 24, Lindsay was 17 again. They swore up and down they were just friends. But on her 18th birthday, boom, they magically became a couple. Like, really, that midnight birthday trick again. They probably took her virginity. Did he go away, or what do you? Why insulted the man he was? How many years you were going out with? We were together for like a year and something. But you don't mean that. Fast forward to 2010, Wilmer starts hanging around a young Demi Lovato. They said the same thing, we're just friends, he's like a brother. And then you guessed it, on Demi's 18th birthday, they suddenly became a couple. At that point, Wilmer was 29, that's over a decade older than her. And just like before, Demi later revealed their relationship had started before she was legal. It's literally a pattern, a blueprint in every case. Mandy, Lindsay. Demi, the timeline is sketchy. And the midnight birthday excuse shows up like clockwork. First met Wilmer, he was 29. I met him on January 11th of 2010, and it was at a PSA shoot at his house for the 2010 census forms. And I have to have him, but I was only 17. And so he was like, get away from me. After I had turned 18, we began dating. I think it was love at first sight. And in 2022, Demi finally broke her silence the best way she could. She dropped a song called 29. And when I tell you the lyrics cut deep, she didn't name names, but everyone knew who she meant. She confirmed it in interviews too, saying, I feel like the song says it all. And honestly, it does now. Listen, one thing about the internet, it always leaves breadcrumbs. And while digging through old comment threads and forums, this one particular user comment popped out like a red flag on fire. Listen to this Wilmer Valderrama. He was part owner of a bar I worked at. Absolute garbage human. Being underage girls would come in a lot, and we were told we were never allowed to ID people at his tables. Megan Good was also an investor, and she was horrendous too. An actual employee says Wilmer owned the bar. Underage girls were regularly coming in, and they were